Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala nabina wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Continuing the book Conditions of Salah, its obligations and its pillars by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahaab, and its explanation by Saleh al Usaymee. So we mentioned the fourth condition of Salah, which was al-wudu, and Muhammad ibn Wahaab goes on to more details regarding the wudu, and he mentions certain conditions regarding it. So we'll read the text of Muhammad ibn Wahaab. We're still on the fourth condition of Salah, which is wudu, and this next condition will take a lot of explanation regarding wudu's conditions and its obligations and its fara'id. So without further ado, we're entering the fourth condition of Salah, which is wudu, and we're talking about the conditions of wudu, which are 10. So Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahaab rahimahullah, he said, وشروطه عشرة: الإسلام والعقل والتمييز والنية واستصحاب حكمها بأن لا ينوي قطعها حتى تتم الطهارة، وانقطاع موجب، واستنجاء أو استجمار قبله، وطهورية ماء وإباحته، وإزالة ما يمنع وصول الماء إلى البشرة، ودخول وقت على من حدثه دائم لفرده. So Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahaab said, and the conditions of wudu are 10: Islam, the intellect, the age of distinction, the intention, istishabu hukmiha, which is the next one after intention, where the person does not intend to cut off his intention until he has completed the tahara, wankita'u mujib, and the stopping of what is necessary, and then istinja or istijmar before that, and also the purification of and also purifying water, and the fact that it's permissible to use that water, and removing what prevents water from reaching the skin, and entry of the time regarding the one whose hadathuhu is always, and now a lot of people may not understand what I've said here due to the fact that some of the stuff I didn't translate it. One, the explanation of Saleh al Usaymee will make it clear, so the translation will be basically from the Shaykh himself, so that will be a lot more eloquent. And also, secondly, some of the translations, if they're literally translated, would not be understood until the explanation is translated, so that will benefit you. So just a bit of patience required in the next 10 minutes or so. So then Saleh ibn Abdul Usaymee, in explaining these 10 conditions, he goes on to say, لما ذكر المصنف رحمه الله الوضوء في رفع الحدث بين فيما بعد شروطه وفروضه وواجبه ونواقضه. So when the author rahimahullah mentioned the wudu in removing or raising of the hadath, he explained its conditions and its fara'id and its obligations and its invalidators. فذكر أولا شروط الوضوء وأنها عشرة. So Saleh ibn Abdul Wahaab goes say, he mentioned firstly the conditions of wudu, and that they are 10. فأولها الإسلام وثانيها العقل وثالثها التمييز ورابعها النية وخامسها استصحاب حكمها أي حكم النية وفسره بقوله بأن لا ينوي قطعها حتى تتم الطهارة أي عدم الإتيان بما ينقض، وهذا هو الواجب في شرط المذكور فلا يجي الأب بشيء ينقض نيته. So the first condition for wudu is Islam, the second is intellect, the third is the age of distinction, the fourth is niyyah, the fifth is istishabu, of the ruling of niyyah, which Muhammad have explained by saying that the person does not cut his intention for niyyah, does not cut his intention for niyyah until he completes the purification. And then Saleh ibn Al Usaymee goes on to say, i.e., not coming with what invalidates the intention. And this is obligatory in this particular mentioned condition. So the slave does not come with something that invalidates his intention. Then Saleh ibn Abdul Wahaab goes on to say, أما استصحاب ذكر النية بأن تكون حاضرة في القلب في أثناء وضوئه من أوله إلى منتهاه فهو مستحب وليس بشرط. As for the istishab of the dhukri of the niyyah, which Salih ibn al-Wasim goes on to say, meaning that the intention for niyyah is present in the heart during the wudu from the beginning to the end. Basically, the intention of the niyyah is in someone's mind from the beginning of the wudu to the end, then this is mustahab and is not a condition. So then Salih ibn al-Usaymee goes on to say, فالأحكام متعلقة بنية الوضوء ثلاثة أقسام. So the rulings connected with the intention of wudu are in three parts. أولها نية إيجاد الوضوء بفعله على وجه القربة وهي المقدمة عليه بين يديه فينوي بوضوءه يتقرب إلى الله بفعل هذه العبادة. The first ruling connected with the intention of wudu is that the bringing about of the intention of wudu by doing it in the aspect of drawing close to Allah. So he intends with his wudu drawing closer to Allah by doing this action, i.e. this ibadah. The second ruling connected to the intention of wudu is istishabu hukm niyyah, which basically the intent of that is والمراد عدم الاتيان بما ينقض النية التي أوجد حين وضوئه. And the intent of that is not coming with something that invalidates the intention which the person has brought about during his wudu. الثالث, the third ruling regarding the rulings connected with the intention of wudu is استصحاب ذكر النية بأن يستحضر في أثناء وضوئه وذكر في أصح القول أهل اللغة بضم الضال أي تذكر. The third ruling is have ذكر النية, which is that the person draws to mind during his wudu the fact that he's got the intention of wudu, that's always on his mind. So Salih ibn Abdul Wahaab goes on to say, the first two rulings or parts are wajib, which is, as we mentioned, to have the intention to draw close to Allah, and the fact not to cut off that intention of niyyah. And the third one is mustahab, just to have it bearing in mind. Okay. Then Salih ibn Abdul Wahaab goes on to say the sixth condition of wudu. وسادسها انقطاع موجب وموجب الوضوء وهو الحدث وانقطاعه أن يفرغ منه فلا يصح شروع في وضوء حتى ينقطع موجبه بأن يفرغ العبد من حدثه. The sixth condition is انقطاع موجب, which is stopping or cutting off what necessitates wudu. And what necessitates wudu is hadath, and cutting it off means that the slave finishes from it. So it's not permissible to start the wudu until he cuts off from what necessitates wudu, so that he finishes from his hadath. The seventh condition of wudu is استنجاء واستجمار قبله أي إذا بال أو تغوط. أما إذا لم يحتاج إليهما فلا يجب عليه أن يقدم بين يدي وضوءه استنجاء أو استجمارا فمحل الشرط حيث وجد الحدث فإن لم يوجد بول ولا غائط فلا يطلب من الأرض واستنجاء ولا استجمار قبله. And the seventh condition of wudu is استنجاء واستجمار قبله أي إذا بال أو تغوط أما إذا لم يحتج إليهما فلا يجب عليه أن يقدم بين يدي وضوءه استنجاء أو استجمارا فمحل الشرط حيث وجد الحدث فإن لم يوجد بول ولا غائط فلا يطلب من الأرض استنجاء ولا استجمار قبله. And the seventh condition is istinja or istijmar before it, i.e. when somebody urinates or for not want for a better word does a poo. However, if the person is not in need of them, that is not necessary for him that he does before his wudu istinja or istijmar. So the place of this condition, istinja or istijmar, is found when hadath is found. So if urine is not found, no poo, for not want for a better word, then is not seeked from the slave istinja and no istijmar before it. Then Saleh al Usaymee goes on to say, al-istinja huwa izalatul bawl or al-ghayr. Istinja is removing of the urine or the poo. Al-istijmar huwa izalatul bawl or al-ghayr bi hajrin or ma fi hukmi. Istijmar is removing of the urine or poo with stone or what is in its ruling. فالاستنجاء أمر من الاستجمار لأن الاستنجاء يراد به قطع النجوي وخارج من السبيلين سواء كان القطع وإزالة بماء أو بحجر أو ورق أو غيرها. أما الاستجمار فيختص بكون الإزالة والقطع واقعا بحجر ونحوه. So istinja is more general than istijmar because istinja, what is intended by it is cutting and stopping and removing what comes out from the two pathways, whether it's by water or stone or paper or other than that. As for istijmar, then it's specific regarding removing and stopping with stone or tissue paper or the like. And the eighth condition of wudu, tahuriyatu ma'in wa ibahatuhu, ay kawnuhu bima'in tahur halalin ghayr maqsub wala masruq wala mawqufin ala ghayr wudu. The eighth condition of wudu is the purifying water and the permissibility of using it, so that the water is not snatched from anyone nor stolen. And Saleh ibn Abdul Wahaab goes on to say, وفي الوضوء بالماء غير مباح قولان أصح ما صحة الوضوء مع لحوق الإثم فمن توضأ بماء سرقه أو غصبه وبماء موقوف على غير وضوء فوضوءه صحيح وآثم بفعله. So regarding the wudu with water that is not permissible to use, then the correct opinion that the wudu is correct, whilst also the person has done a sin. So whoever does wudu with water which he stole or snatched from someone, then his wudu is correct, but he is sinning due to the action of stealing or snatching. And the ninth condition of wudu, izalatu ma yamna wusul al-ma'i al-bashara, which is removing what prevents the water from reaching the skin. And the 10th condition, دخول وقت على من حدث دائم لفرده. And the 10th condition of wudu is the entry of the time for someone whose hadath is always, And Saleh al Usaymee goes on to say, وَصَاحِبُ الْحَدَثِ دَائِمٌ هُوَ مَنْ لَا يَنْقَطِعُ حَدَثَهُ is the person who of hadath, whose hadath is always and he does not stop his hadath. كمان به سلسل bawl or imra'a mustahada. For example, one who has continuous urine, or a woman who is continuously bleeding. فإن هذين لا ينقطع حدثهما بحال. So these two, the hadath, i.e. in the woman's case the bleeding, or in the man's case the continuous urination of the, or in the woman's case the continuous urination, continuous urinating or droplets of urine. بل يبقى متصلا فمن كان كذلك لم يتودى لفرضه إلا بعد دخول وقته. So this is always continuing with them. So whoever is like that, then they should not do wudu for the farad salah until after the entry of the time. فشرط الأكيل لا يؤم جميع الأفراد بل يقتصر بالدائم الحدث. So this last condition is not general for everybody, rather specific for those who always have hadath. That concludes today's lesson. جزاكم الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.